Hi, I'm Dr. Cynthia Clark. I'm an acupuncture physician, a board-certified Chinese herbalist, and I am an energy medicine practitioner and a functional medicine nutritionist. And I am here today with one of our favorite clients. This is Bobby Hardy, and he's recently had some experiences that he wanted to share with you. So, Bobby, what is the disease that you were diagnosed with?
Well, I was diagnosed with COPD, and a little later on, I had that diagnosis for a couple of years. A little later on, I ended up picking up a fungus called aspergillus fungus in my lungs. And
so not just COPD, that wasn't complicated enough. We also had to deal with fungus in the lungs.
That's right.
And what was the daily life like at that time? What was it like getting around and doing things?
Well, before the aspergillus, it was hard, but I could get around fair. Once the aspergillus set in, it was impossible. I was, and this has been going on 2 years now, or a little more, where I've pretty much been on oxygen all the time.
And you have 2 different oxygen tanks, right?
I do. I actually have 3.
You have 3?
I have 3. I have a big one at home that sits on the floor. I have a backpack, and then I have tanks. So I'm well prepared with oxygen, which I have been using a lot of, unfortunately, up until I saw you.
And so one of the ways that we would measure how well Bobby was doing was by observing which tank was used, because one of the tanks was an intermittent, one of it was a constant flow, and how much time you were having to be on those, right?
Yes.
So when it was at its worst, how long were you on oxygen on a given day? And which tank? The intermittent or the constant?
The constant.
This was the green tank.
Yeah, pretty much all day, and all night. I mean, you would even sleep with it,
And jumping the gun a little bit here, I happen to notice that you don't happen to have any oxygen on you today.
That's right. And as you know too, I haven't had for a while. So I am
very. It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's a great feeling, and this has been going on for 5 years now. When I first started getting out of breath, and you've been a godsend, I have to tell you. I have been to every hospital in this county, in Sarasota County, more than once. I've had a heart attack over this from trying to breathe. I've tried everything. Nothing has worked until I come to see you. And the compassion that you have for your work has been a large part of it. And your ability as a doctor, you've just worked wonders for me. I don't know how else to put it. I've been off of oxygen now weeks, and occasionally, I'll get on it a little bit and get out of breath if I go too quick. But every day I'm getting better, and every time I see you, I get better. And there's no way to thank you enough for it, because the regular medical establishment has nothing to offer for me. I've tried everything that they have, with all the medicines and the puffers and everything that they got to offer, they've given me, and nothing helped me until I saw you. Nothing.
So can I ask you for this opinion? So comparing the course of treatment in what you've experienced here and what you experienced with the medications before, tell me about, did you have side effects with treatments here? Did you feel worse at times? You went through some detox.
I did.
Yeah, it's a bit of a journey.
I did. It has been a journey. It's been, and I don't know exactly, you've explained it to me pretty much, but so I'm not exactly sure what happens, but sometimes I have 2 things going on. I have the COPD, and then the fungus. I don't just have one of them. If I firmly believe if I only had the fungus, you would have already gotten rid of it. It would have been gone. But having them both, it has hindered me a little bit because some of the teas, as they're killing the fungus, which I can feel, they tend to make it hard for me to breathe.
And you've stayed the course.
Yes.
Even though
yes.
it's difficult at times.
Yes.
And you're truly to be congratulated for that, because sometimes the healing process has to go through a natural phase. And a lot of people give up and you didn't.
Well, I wanted to a few times. It's
hard when you can't breathe.
Oh, it is. It's so hard. But I was always able to call here if I needed to. And you can't do that with anywhere else. You can't do that with a regular doctor or a hospital. I mean, you can't do anything as you can do here. I mean, this has been an amazing journey for me, and it's only gotten better every day. It's better, and I thank God for it, because you were probably my last stop. I mean, I'm not saying that I knew I was gonna die at that point, but I would have been on oxygen, I think, the rest of my life if I hadn't to have gotten so lucky to come here and see you.
Well, I have to say, it is especially great to see you now. The color in your face is fantastic. I noticed last time I saw you, you stood the whole time we were chatting, none of this sitting down and resting business.
No.
It's really, your vitality really, really, really shows.
I go out and I work, and I do things that I love to do. I'm not back to a full-time job yet, but I know I'm going to be there. You and your staff and your team, which I don't want to call them your staff so much as your team, because they're all they all have a specialty. Everybody here has some type of specialty, and they have. You can tell that you're in them. Your compassion is definitely in them. And Dr. Nesto, I had problems with my head, trying to, always worrying about everybody else, which I still do to a little bit, and because it's my family. But he's worked with me quite a few times. And if I don't take care of myself, which he's made me believe, then I can't help anybody else. And I thank him very much for that. He's been very good at that. But you have a practice that is hard to compare. I don't think there's any more around like it. I really don't. Not with somebody like you, or as many people that are as compassionate as you are and caring about your patients as you guys do. I mean, you'll go overtime if you need to. You'll wait for me when I'm late. I can't say enough. I just can't say enough. I love you, and what you've done for me is just been incredible. I mean, it's just been amazing. And I feel like I'm getting better every day. And
we're very, very, very glad to see it. And it's an honor to be part of your journey. And I've learned many things with you. You're one of the most complicated cases like this that I've seen. And so you're good for us, and your willingness to stay the course helps other people in the future. So thank you very much for your journey and for your presence, and I'm just absolutely delighted to see you doing so well.
Well, thank you very much. And I am too. and I thank you and everybody. It's been a great journey for me, and it's only getting better.
It's only getting better.
Thank you.
My pleasure.